Hello, I'm Clark McCaskill. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for the town of High Level. During an emergency like the Chuckegg Crete fire, my role is the Director of Emergency Management, which is to oversee all of the activities that go on with the response to a disaster or an emergency. One of the things that makes the Chuckegg Crete wildfire unique was the evacuation of the town of High Level and its surrounding communities, Bushe, River, Mackenzie County, and the High Level area. An evacuation like this is a fairly traumatic experience for the community, and it's also a huge logistical challenge. There are 4,000 people live in High Level, another 1,000 in Bushe River, and approximately another 1,000 or so out in the rural area around High Level. So that greater community has to be coordinated to evacuate. We were first made aware of the Chuckegg fire when it was quite small, on the 12th of May. It wasn't for several days that it became apparent that there was a threat to the community of High Level and to the town of High Level itself. By the Friday of that week, we were being told that we might want to be paying attention to the fire and the way it was spreading. By Saturday morning, we were meeting as a larger group to look at how the fire was spreading, what its behavior was, and what that meant for the populated areas in the High Level area. Later that Saturday, we'd already started messaging that there could be a possible evacuation because of the threat of wildfire. By the Sunday, it became very apparent that there was a definite threat to town. We had ramped up the messaging. It was very interesting to go out on a Sunday and watch vehicles go by with personal belongings, goods, suitcases, essentially vehicles packed right to the rafters, ready to leave if they needed to. It wasn't until the Monday morning that we knew that it was imminent that we were going to have to evacuate the community. That evacuation order was given at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What's interesting during an evacuation is you have to coordinate things in that large area to ensure that nobody is left behind. The evacuation of High Level was done in 6.5 hours. What is amazing about that evacuation is that the individuals who were up to help with the fire, helped organize the evacuation, did not believe a town the size of High Level could be evacuated in less than 24 hours. The town and its people did it in 6. That took a lot of help. There was a lot of resources involved. We had resources from the cadets, we had resources from the rangers, the RCMP, the sheriff's offices, Fish and Wildlife, AHS with ambulances, the school division with buses, and basically what happened is people walked the streets, let everybody know, loaded them up if they needed transportation, got them out to the evacuation centers. We also need to give recognition to the Northwest Incident Management Team. The Northwest Incident Management Team are individuals from municipalities in Northwest Alberta who come to the aid of other communities who are facing an emergency, such as the Chuckegg Crete fire. It was those people who helped organize the evacuation, put it in place, decide where people were going, decide on the timing of it. Without them, it would have been much more difficult than it was. But the biggest thanks with the evacuation and the biggest credit goes to the citizens of the town of High Level and the residents of the greater High Level community. A lot of the evacuation went off well because of the planning of the town of High Level, but it was the cooperation of our residents and our citizens and their faith in us to leave their homes behind so that we could address the fire that made this as easy as it was. A special thank you goes out to those communities who hosted our evacuees. Without their help throughout that 2 weeks of evacuation, our people would have been lost. They fed people, they clothed people, they continued to give the information that we were disseminating, and it's great to have neighbors like we do in Northwest Alberta.